Hello and welcome to Lost Love Chronicles.
Dear listeners, before we get started, drop a quick hi in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from. Also, if you have any suggestions for us to make the channel better, please let us know. Now let's start with the story. My fiancée told thousands of people online that she was only marrying me for money, not love, not respect, just cold, hard cash. So, I did the rational thing. I canceled the wedding, sat back, and watched her life go up in flames like it was the season finale of a drama she didn't know she was starring in. Hi, I'm Mitchell. I'm 32. Professionally known as the IT guy, personally known as Mitchell. Why are you still single? Thanks, Aunt Deborah. I work as a network engineer at a mid-sized tech company tucked away in the sleepy suburbs. It's not glamorous. It's not Silicon Valley. But it's stable. I pull in $78,000 a year, plus benefits. I'm not rolling in money. I don't have a yacht named Packet Loss or anything, but I can cover a car repair without sobbing into a bag of instant noodles. My day job is basically a cycle of putting out digital fires and decoding the mysteries of human incompetence. Like, I spend an alarming amount of time telling people things like, no, Kimberly from accounting, you can't have admin privileges just so you can install that sketchy-looking horoscope toolbar. That's how ransomware happens, Kimberly. I swear, every day is a new episode of Why Is This Plugged Into Nothing? When I try to explain my actual job, fixing server issues, preventing outages, keeping the network from becoming a flaming pile of code, people's eyes go blank. They just smile and say, oh, so you fix printers? Sure, Susan. I fix printers. I'm basically the geek squad with a 401k. Anyway, for a little context, I grew up just outside Columbus, Ohio. Picture strip malls, endless parking lots, and football games that shut the whole town down on Fridays. It was peak middle American suburbia, where your choices in life are football star, dropout, or the guy who moves away and comes back for Thanksgiving with a job nobody understands. My parents split when I was 12. No drama, no screaming matches, just a very Ohio kind of divorce. Dad worked at a Honda factory. Mom was a pediatric nurse. I got the classic split. Weekdays with mom, weekends with dad, and two completely different sets of rules depending on the zip code. But they didn't hate each other. They just drifted apart like two sad boats passing in a fog of expired love and Tupperware arguments. I was the nerdy kid. Not glow-in-the-dark anime shirt nerdy, but the kind who built a computer from scratch at 14 using parts one bought by mowing lawns and shoveling snow. I was basically the unofficial IT department of my neighborhood before I could legally drive. I got decent grades, not valedictorian material, but enough to get into Ohio State. Go Buckeyes, I guess. I majored in computer science, took on some student loans, because apparently education in America comes with a monthly payment plan, and worked my way through a series of IT gigs. You know the type, fixing login issues, dodging coffee spills near servers, wondering why Sharon keeps forgetting her password, even though it's literally her dog's name and birthday. After a few years of this digital purgatory, I finally landed my current job as a network engineer 4 years ago. The pay's decent, the benefits don't suck, and nobody's thrown a stapler at me yet. So, I call that a win. My life isn't flashy. I've got a small circle of friends, guys I game with, some work buddies. We mostly communicate in memes and share disdain for online multiplayer. I drive a 2018 Subaru. It's not a Ferrari, but it gets me to Costco without judgment. And my apartment? It's nice. Not fancy, but nice. A 2-bedroom in a decent complex, covered parking, plus a gym I occasionally remember exists, pretty much sums up my kingdom. I've got a 401k that's doing okay, whatever that means when Wall Street sneezes. And about 65 grand spread across savings accounts because dad drilled one lesson into me harder than any subnet mask. Always keep 6 months of expenses on hand. When I'm not patching firewalls or educating Kimberly about malware, I unwind with tech and history podcasts, imagine bedtime stories for grown-up nerds, hammer buttons in video games, and watch sports in the most zen way possible. If my team loses, I shrug, grab another slice of pizza, and go on with my evening. Revolutionary, I know. Enter Aubrey. 27, marketing coordinator at some downtown agency where every wall is exposed brick and every meeting's powered by kombucha on tap. She makes about the same money I do, 65k, but swipes her card like she's got Bezos on speed dial. Blonde, gym-toned, always dressed like an Instagram reel come to life. Even our quick trips to the grocery store looked like she was auditioning for a Vogue spread. We met 3 years ago at my buddy Dexter's housewarming. Picture me in the kitchen, cracking open a can of generic cola, when Aubrey glides in like a perfume commercial. You're the only guy here not trying to get my attention, she says, eyebrow raised. So naturally, you got my attention. I proceed to dazzle her with, I'm not great at parties. Eat your heart out, Casanova. She laughs like it's peak stand-up, sticks out her hand. Aubrey. Mitchell. I reply, futilely attempting to look cooler than a malfunctioning Roomba. 2 straight hours of talking later, her asking follow-ups about routers, me pretending my soda is tequila, we're still glued at the hip. I assume she's just being polite until she grabs my phone, taps in her number, and says, text me tomorrow. Not tonight. Tomorrow. So I know you're interested but not desperate. Naturally, I schedule a reminder and hit send at exactly 1 p.m. the next day because nothing screams stable like punctual digital affection. First date that weekend, boom, relationship.exe successfully launched. Fast forward 2 years. I dropped to one knee with a $4,800 ring, nearly 3 months of my salary, funded by cutting back on literally everything else. I remember eating ramen for dinner 3 times a week for months, chicken-flavored depression noodles, while still taking Aubrey to those trendy restaurants with menus that didn't have prices, just vibes. Because God forbid we suddenly switched to Chili's, someone might notice and think I lost my job or grew a conscience. But hey, the look on her face when I pulled out that ring? Totally worth it. Or so I thought. I mean, that was the moment, right? The gasp, the hand over the mouth, the Instagram-worthy tears, it all felt like I was doing something right. Again, or so I thought. Our relationship was good. I genuinely believed that. Or at least I told myself that between budgeting spreadsheets and resisting the urge to scream every time she left the lights on in rooms she wasn't in. Sure, there were some red flags. Okay, maybe a few red billboards, but hindsight's 20/20, right? Little things started to get under my skin. Like how she got annoyed every time I didn't want to go out on a Friday night. Sorry, I spent my entire day deciphering why the network crashed because someone plugged their space heater into a server outlet. I want sweatpants and Netflix, not valet parking and a $19 cocktail named after a forest animal. Let's just stay in tonight. I'm exhausted, I'd say. She'd give me that look. You know the one. The look that says, I'm dating a grandfather in a 32-year-old's body. Mitchell, we never go out anymore. We literally went out last weekend. Exactly. That was last weekend. She'd roll her eyes so hard I thought they might just detach. Practical, that's what she called me. You're just practical to a fault. And this was usually while she was adding another designer bag to her collection of identical leather rectangles. I swear they all looked the same. If she ever got mugged, I wouldn't even be able to identify which purse was stolen. Was it the beige one? They're all beige, Mitchell. But despite all that, she seemed to love me. And I definitely loved her. The thing about Aubrey, though, and I cannot stress this enough, is that she was pathologically addicted to social media. Like, if the Wi-Fi ever went down, she'd need a wellness check. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, if it had a camera and strangers to impress, she was on it. Everything was content. What she ate, what she wore, what her mood was. If she was feeling vaguely emotional, we got a blurry photo and a quote like healing isn't linear crescent moon sparkles. And I had to pretend I didn't live with this person and know the actual reason she was upset was because the boutique ran out of lavender matcha. At first, I thought it was kind of cute, quirky, even. Then it got annoying. Then I just gave up and accepted that I was dating someone who would rather break her phone than break her posting streak. Babe, no one cares what your lunch looks like, I'd say while stirring my off-brand cereal. She'd snap back without missing a beat. My followers do. She actually said that. My followers do. Like we were living in the dystopian future of validation. Some of us actually have a social presence. Not everyone wants to be invisible online like you. Yeah, well, some of us like privacy and not being tracked by 12 different data farms. But whatever helps you sleep at night, Aubrey. She had about 12,000 followers. Not quite influencer status, but just enough to get free skincare samples and local boutique discounts. Also just enough to act like she was this close to landing a brand deal with Chanel if the algorithm would stop being weird. Our couple content was also, of course, curated like an art exhibit. I appeared in maybe 1 out of every 20 posts, usually looking candid, which is code for posed for 15 minutes until she approved my jawline. According to her feed, we were the perfect couple. We went on amazing dates. We took fantastic vacations, and we definitely never argued about the fact she spent $300 on a purse the same week our hot water heater needed replacing. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I knew. I knew she was high maintenance. I knew she was about as deep as a puddle in July. But I thought, foolishly, that underneath all that Sephora and serotonin chasing was someone who genuinely cared about me. Spoiler alert, I was wrong. So wrong I should have had a warning label slapped on my forehead. Anyway, about a month ago, Aubrey tells me she's doing a girls' empowerment night with her work friends, Miranda and Kendra. You know, face masks, snacks, career talk, very lean in, but with LaCroix. She kissed me goodbye around 6:30. Miss you already, babe. She texted at 7:15. And me? I settled in for what every man dreams of, complete and total peace. I ordered a pizza, kicked back, and fired up Elden Ring. I was ready to get destroyed by digital dragons and not hear a single complaint about how you don't like brunch enough. Then, around 11 p.m., something strange. Not one post. Not a single update. And this is a woman who once posted a reel about her shoes because they accidentally matched the sunset. She documents everything. Boomerangs of coffee foam, inspirational quotes over selfies, and once, I swear, an Instagram story of her sneezing. So no group selfies? No glittery filters of clay face masks? No footage of them dancing to Taylor Swift while pretending not to care about angles? Weird. Then I remembered something from my tech goblin days. This burner Instagram account I'd made a year ago when I was testing a social media analytics tool for work. Username, 2487. No profile picture. No posts. Basically, a digital ghost. I logged in. Just curiosity, right? Totally not suspicious at all. Just casual recon. Searched her name. And there she was, on Instagram Live. Titled Girl Boss Night. 45 people watching. I clicked. The camera was propped on what looked like a water bottle. Aubrey and her friends were chilling on Kendra's sectional couch. Sparkling water, snacks, classic Pinterest core. They were giggling, talking over each other, and operating at a level of chaotic energy only achieved through a mix of Prosecco and unchecked privilege. Aubrey was reading comments off her phone like she was hosting QVC. Thanks, Jenny loves 94. Yes, this is my natural hair color. It's not. Then someone in the chat asked, how's wedding planning going with the IT guy? That's when Miranda leaned into the frame, eyes wide, grin evil. Yeah, Aubrey, is Mitchell even involved, or are you doing everything? And Aubrey, rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might orbit the moon. Mitchell is, what's the word? He's so freaking basic. Ouch. She wasn't done. He's financially stable, which is the only reason I'm still with him. Good credit score, no debt, actual savings account. Pause. She grinned. But God, the man wears the same 3 button-downs and thinks Olive Garden is a date night. They all laughed. Then Kendra chimes in, but he bought you that fat rock. And Aubrey, without skipping a beat, holds up her hand like she's displaying a championship belt. That 1.5-carat diamond caught the light like it had a performance to give. Yeah, she said, turning her wrist dramatically, only because I showed him exactly which one to buy and told him if it wasn't at least this big, I'd say no. Ah, romance. She chuckled. Took him forever to save up for it too. Like, just put it on credit like a normal person. Right. Sorry I didn't slap it on a card and go into debt for your Instagram flex, Aubrey. My bad for being fiscally responsible, what a nerd. Then she looked straight into the camera, right into it, and said, he's a stepping stone, not the destination. Once we're married and I get my business off the ground, who knows? People grow apart. She winked. Kendra laughed. Savage. One of the gremlins in the comments typed, does he know you feel this way? LOL. Aubrey smirked. He doesn't watch my lives. He's probably playing video games like a teenager. Nailed it. There I was, controller in hand, feeling like someone had taken that controller and jammed it into my rib cage. It just sat there, limp in my lap, forgotten, while she took another sip of her overpriced sparkling water and changed the subject to some new diet she was trying, because of course she did. I sat there, not moving, just letting it all process. Stepping stone, not the destination. 3 years together. Engagement. Wedding plans. Talking about kids someday. Family holidays. All that time. And apparently, I was just a human wallet with Wi-Fi. I didn't yell. Didn't throw anything. Didn't dramatically flip a table like in reality TV. I just sat in silence as my stomach turned itself into a stress pretzel. Because that's what emotional gut punches do. They don't shout, they echo. Eventually, I clicked out of the live, but not before screen recording the last few minutes. Because screenshots are great, but video's undeniable. And I'm a network engineer, I believe in backups. I shut down my PC, went to bed, and stared at the ceiling like a man trying to process every bad decision that led him to this moment. Around 2 a.m., she texted, on my way home. Next morning, she strolls in wearing workout clothes that easily cost more than my monthly car payment. You know the kind, designer spandex engineered by a team of Swiss scientists to compress your self-esteem. She drops her overnight bag with the grace of someone who knows she'll never carry her own luggage in life. Gives me a quick peck like she's kissing her favorite barista, and immediately starts blending a detox smoothie that sounds more like a lab experiment. Morning, I said, keeping my tone neutral. How was your night? She didn't even look up. So fun, she said, tossing chia seeds like confetti. Just what I needed. Miranda's thinking about leaving her boyfriend. He's such a loser, Aubrey said casually, like she was announcing the weather. Still in those $120 leggings, flipping through her phone like she was too busy to be emotionally available in 1080p. I nodded. Cool. Because honestly, what was I supposed to say? Poor Miranda. How dare he provide stable companionship without enough drama for your group chat? Then she asked, what did you do? Still not looking up from her screen, probably too invested in someone else's breakfast story on Instagram. Nothing much, I replied. Played some games. Watched a movie. She muttered. Back to scrolling. Probably double-tapping some influencer's post about healing through crystal energy and sponsored leggings. And that's when it hit me, full force, like an existential truck doing 70 in a school zone. I'd spent 3 years with someone who didn't see me. She saw a credit score, a savings account, and a guy who could pay for brunch without checking his bank app. I was a walking spreadsheet in khakis. The boyfriend equivalent of an H&R Block appointment. Suddenly, every tiny comment that I'd brushed off as quirky or blunt lit up like neon red flags at a clown convention. When are you going to ask for a raise? Jake at my office makes way more than you. Right, Aubrey, but Jake also sells Herbalife on the side and vapes in the break room. Can't we go somewhere nicer for vacation? My followers will think I'm dating a broke guy. Sorry, your audience of teenage girls and bored dental hygienists might revolt if we stay somewhere with continental breakfast and not gold-dusted pancakes. Don't you want to apply for that management position? The salary bump would help with the wedding. You mean your wedding, the one with the $6,000 flower arch and a harpist that plays Beyoncé? Every single conversation circled back to money, status, appearances. If it didn't photograph well or move the algorithm, it wasn't real to her. She'd critique everything. My clothes? Why do you always wear blue? Do you not know other colors exist? My haircut? You should try something more modern. Like what Chris Evans has. My car? It's reliable. That's cute, I guess. All while draining my wallet like it was a Kickstarter for her lifestyle. Her aesthetic was minimalist, but her spending habits were early retirement for someone else. And through all this, in 3 years, not once did she ask me about my dreams. Not my childhood, my goals, my favorite movie, what makes me happy, nothing. Because frankly, I don't think she cared, as long as my debit card worked and I smiled for photos on command. And me? I was just so pathetically grateful that someone this attractive, this out of my league, was interested in me that I let it all slide. I was the human embodiment of, wow, he's lucky to have her, with none of the return on investment. Let me give you some real-life highlights from this one-sided disaster of a relationship. Exhibit A, my dad had a health scare last year. Possible heart attack. Turned out it was just severe indigestion. Thanks, Dad, for the drama. But in the moment, I was panicked, on edge, ready to call everyone and cancel everything. Aubrey's response. Can we talk about this later? I'm trying to finish this sponsorship post. Sure. Sorry. Didn't realize my dad's fake heart attack was interrupting your paid partnership with gummy vitamins. Exhibit B. I got passed over for a promotion I'd really wanted. I came home, deflated, told her about it. Her immediate reaction? Well, maybe if you dressed better for work, people would take you more seriously. Want me to help you shop for better clothes? Ah yes, nothing suits rejection like a passive-aggressive fashion critique. Not a that sucks, not a you'll get it next time. Just straight to Project Runway, Corporate Edition. Exhibit C, my 31st birthday. All I wanted was to hang with a few close friends. Grilling. Some games. Nothing fancy. Just meat, beer, and people who know me. Aubrey vetoed it immediately. It won't look good on Instagram. Instead, she organized a dinner at one of those overpriced industrial lighting places downtown, invited her friends, took 72 photos of the appetizers, and then spent the whole meal talking to them while I sat there, smiling like a decorative plant. I literally considered changing my name to Centerpiece halfway through the evening. Exhibit D. Every time we visited my parents, she'd sit on her phone the entire time, scrolling, tapping, maybe filming her coffee if the lighting hit right. Then, on the drive home, your parents are so boring. But of course, I had to be fully engaged and borderline Oscar-worthy charming when we visited her family. Smiling, laughing at her dad's weird finance jokes, pretending I wasn't dying inside when her mom asked, "So when are you getting that promotion?" Aubrey mentioned. Meanwhile, she was on her phone half the time we were at my parents' house, and then called them boring before we even pulled out of the driveway. And still, I kept making excuses. She's just stressed. She grew up differently. She has high standards. No, Mitchell. What she had was an ego the size of her unpaid Amex bill and the emotional depth of a puddle in the Sahara. Watching that Instagram live cut through all the self-delusions like a chainsaw through butter. That wasn't love. That wasn't even basic companionship. That was a transaction. A one-sided, emotionally bankrupt, influencer-branded exchange where I was footing the bill and getting the generic boyfriend experience in return. So, I did what any calm, rational man who just realized he's been emotionally bamboozled for 3 years would do. I played it cool. For a week, I went to work, came home, kissed her on the forehead like nothing was wrong, and inside, I was running a full forensic audit on my life. Not out of anger, out of self-respect. Because for once, I wasn't trying to win her over. I was trying to get myself back. While she was posting wedding inspiration boards like she was curating content for Vogue weddings, and running Instagram polls like Bora Bora or Santorini for the honeymoon, babes, Two Hearts Airplane, I was over here playing 4D chess and quietly untying every knot that bound us together. First stop, finances. The cold, brutal spreadsheet of truth. My annual salary, $78,000. Her salary, $65,000. With spending habits like she made 6 figures and dated Jeff Bezos on the side. My savings, $65,000, diversified across accounts because I like to not panic during car repairs. Her savings, $4,300, which immediately vanished the second a designer handbag went on sale. Joint wedding and honeymoon savings, $32,400. Of that, guess how much I contributed? $28,000. Yeah, do the math. I did, and then I had to lie down. My retirement accounts, $112,000. Her retirement accounts, literally zero. That's for old people, she said. Yeah, and you know what else is for old people? Regret. Monthly rent, $2,200. Guess who paid $1,700? That's right. This guy? Her share? $500. Because your job is more stressful. Utilities? 100% me. Groceries? Mostly me, unless you count the $18 vegan collagen booster powder she insisted on. Her credit card debt, $22,000 across 4 different cards. My credit card debt, 0, because I'm not trying to reenact confessions of a shopaholic. Once I laid all of it out, it hit me like a freight train powered by shame and almond milk. I was being financially and emotionally drained so someone else could cosplay as a lifestyle guru. Next, I tackled the big one, the venue. We had a wedding booked with a $15,000 deposit, almost entirely from my savings. A barn venue, rustic chic, overpriced for a place that still smells faintly of hay. I called the venue and got connected to the manager, a woman named Kimberly. Not that kind of Kimberly. This one sounded like she ran her office like a Navy ship and took zero nonsense. So you're calling to cancel? She asked, crisp and professional. Not exactly, I replied. I'm calling to see if I can transfer the reservation to a different name and get my deposit back. A pause. We don't usually do that. I took a deep breath. My fiancée publicly announced she's only marrying me for financial stability and plans to leave me once she gets what she wants. Silence. I have video evidence. More silence. Then let me see what I can do, Kimberly said after a pause that felt like she was weighing my soul. And folks, Kimberly came through. Not only did she agree to refund the entire deposit, but she also, and I quote, put a note in the system so that Miss Aubrey cannot rebook the date, even if she tries. You ever hear an angel speak? I have. Her name is Kimberly, and she doesn't play around. The refund would take 30 days to process, which was absolutely perfect. Because I wasn't just planning an exit. I was choreographing an elegant, passive-aggressive ballet of financial disentanglement. Next stop, the honeymoon. Bali. $8,200 worth of tropical bliss we'd never see because apparently I was just a stepping stone and not a person. Luckily, the resort had a 60-day full refund policy. I called, canceled, and the person on the phone said, "No problem, sir," with the exact same tone a waiter uses when they tell you they'll comp the drink after spilling water on your pants. Beautiful. Then I called my bank. "Hi," I said. "I need to discreetly separate some finances." The woman on the other end of the line perked up like she'd just been handed the plot to a drama series. "Absolutely, Mr. Reynolds. Let's go over your options." Our joint savings account had about $32,400 in it. But here's the thing. I had put in $28,000 of that. I had receipts. Literal deposit slips. A full paper trail because I'm the kind of man who keeps spreadsheets for fun. They helped me quietly open a private account at a completely different bank and move my share over. Aubrey wouldn't see it until she tried to swipe her card at some boutique and got denied buying a leather clutch named Valentina. Then I called the landlord. See, we'd moved into my apartment when we got engaged. Only my name was on the lease. "I need to break the lease early," I said. "That's a $2,000 early termination fee," the landlord replied, reciting it like he was announcing the price of betrayal. "What if I found you a new tenant?" "Well, then we'd waive it." "Perfect," I said, trying not to grin like a cartoon villain. I had a buddy whose lease was ending next month. He was already complaining about his neighbor's midnight drum circles and wanted out. My apartment was right in his budget, and unlike me, he didn't have a walking expense account for a fiancée. Win-win. I booked myself a furnished one-bedroom across town. Nothing fancy, just enough space for my essentials, peace, and the occasional scream into a pillow. Month-to-month lease, $1,800, cheaper than what I was paying now, and no one demanding a Himalayan salt lamp for vibes. I scheduled movers for Thursday. Aubrey would be at a day-long marketing conference, pretending to care about brand synergy and drinking lukewarm coffee from a sustainable cup. She wouldn't suspect a thing. And for the final touch, I went back to that Instagram live. The smoking gun, the digital equivalent of being slapped with a sequin glove. It was still up. I recorded the entire thing. Had it transcribed. Screenshots. Time-stamped. Labeled. Indexed. Not for blackmail. Oh no, I'm not that guy. For closure. Because I know how breakups work. A few months down the line, my brain would start gaslighting me. Maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe you're overreacting. Well, guess what, future Mitchell? Here's a PDF with all the receipts. Literally. Then, I logged out of every single shared account. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, even our shared photo storage. I removed my credit card from every single one of Aubrey's linked accounts like I was defusing bombs. Spotify family. Gone. Amazon Prime. Nope. That sketchy teeth whitening subscription that kept auto-renewing? Not my problem anymore, Aubrey. Then I made a detailed list, because of course I did, of every item I owned before we moved in together versus what we bought jointly. If I bought it with my own money before her Pinterest board invaded my life, I packed it. If we picked it out together, even if I paid 90% and she pointed and said, that one, I left it. Because this wasn't about revenge. I wasn't going to key her car or replace the couch cushions with sardine cans. This was about self-preservation. I just wanted to get out of this influencer-themed hostage situation with my sanity and dignity intact. And then, I waited. I'll admit, the night before it all went down, I had a moment. You don't spend 3 years with someone and not feel something. We had memories. Inside jokes. She used to call me tech babe. I used to think it was cute. I almost called it off. Almost. But then, fate, or karma, or just plain stupidity delivered one last push. I was brushing my teeth in the bathroom when I heard her in the living room on the phone with Miranda. Yeah, the venue's booked, she said, like she was talking about a dentist appointment. It's not as upscale as I wanted, but it's what we can afford with Mitchell's budget. I'm working on him for the upgraded catering package. He keeps talking about staying within budget, but I mean, it's my wedding day. There it was again. My wedding day. Not ours. Like I was the caterer. Or a vaguely useful ATM in slacks. Doubt. Evaporated. Thursday arrived. The day of liberation. Aubrey left at 7 a.m. for her marketing conference, dressed in a powder blue blazer that probably had its own Instagram account. She kissed me goodbye, barely, mumbling, love you. Make dinner reservations for tonight. I'm networking with VPs. Because nothing says romance like scheduling quality time between PowerPoints and shrimp cocktail. As soon as I heard the door click shut, I texted the movers. All clear. They pulled up at 8 a.m. like a tactical unit. I'd already boxed and labeled everything down to my last charging cable. Clothes? Packed. Electronics? Packed. Family heirlooms? Packed. Emotional baggage? Still unpacked, but we're working on it. By 10 a.m., we were done. The apartment looked like a showroom that had just been robbed by a very polite, organized thief. I left behind anything we bought together. The overpriced designer sofa that made my back hurt? Hers. The dining set she had to have because it matched her Pinterest aesthetic? Hers. The bed we shared? Enjoy it. I hope it brings her and her ego comfort. Then came the final flourish. I took the engagement ring that I'd spent months working overtime to afford and dropped it into one of her trendy glass tumblers on the kitchen counter. It was poetic, really. She had been sipping sparkling water while casually telling the internet I was just her retirement plan. Now the ring sat there, glinting coldly in the same kind of glass, like a crystal clear middle finger. No note. No dramatic speech. No final text. She already told the world how she felt. I was just honoring her truth. By noon, I was setting up my new place, smaller, quieter, and for the first time in 3 years, entirely mine. By 2 p.m., I had the internet working in my new place, because priorities. You can live without a coffee table. You can't live without Wi-Fi. By 5 o'clock, I was parked on my new couch. Nothing fancy, just wide enough for me to stretch out, soft enough to make me forget the emotional hangover I was nursing. And then, boom. My phone lit up like it was auditioning for a disaster movie. The first call came at 5:23 p.m. I watched it ring like it was a cursed artifact. Aubrey's name glowing on the screen. Declined. Let it go to voicemail. Then another. And another. And another. I sat there like a bouncer at the door of my sanity. Nope, not tonight, ma'am. Dress code is self-awareness and accountability. The voicemails. Oh, they were a ride. Voicemail 1. Mitchell, where are you? Where's your stuff? Call me back. This isn't funny. Ah, yes. The classic, maybe he's playing an elaborate game of hide-and-seek with all his furniture. Voicemail 2. Are you freaking kidding me? You moved out over what? Call me. Ma'am, you described me as a financial plan with a pulse. What do you think what is? Voicemail 3. If this is about that stupid Instagram live, you're being ridiculous. It was just girl talk. You know I love you. Please call me. Girl talk? Oh, cool. Just some casual televised emasculation. No big deal. As the minutes ticked on, the tone shifted like a tragic theater production directed by someone with a mood disorder. Desperate. Then angry. Then dramatic sobbing. Then guilt-tripping. Then whatever stage of grief includes accusing me of being immature. The text messages poured in like spam from an emotionally unstable bot. 5:42 p.m. Mitchell, where are you? 5:43. Why is your stuff gone? 5:45. Answer your phone. 5:52. Is this a joke? Because it's not funny. 6:01. I can't believe you do this to me. 6:08. Over one stupid comment. Really? 6:15. You're acting like a child. 6:23. The ring too? Seriously? 6:30. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but this is an extreme reaction. Nothing like a conditional apology that also calls you dramatic. Real Hallmark stuff. 6:45. Please just call me so we can talk about this. 7:03. Mitchell, I'm worried about you. 7:15. If you don't call me back, I'm calling the police to do a wellness check. 7:32. I'm coming to find you. That's when I turned the phone off. Not just silenced it. Off. Like, toss it on the bed and go make pasta off. The kind of off where you let the world scream into the void while you enjoy your quiet little pasta dinner in peace. The next morning, I turned it back on with the same energy one uses to check the results of a medical test you've been ignoring for 3 days. 78 missed calls. 134 text messages. 23 voicemails. And, cherry on top, multiple notifications that she had attempted to log into my email and bank accounts. Which is either a red flag or a felony. Possibly both. I didn't respond to any of it. Around noon, I got a text from my buddy Dexter. Dude, Aubrey is having a complete meltdown on social. Did you guys break up? Curiosity got the better of me. I checked her Instagram. There she was. Front-facing camera. Crying. Makeup strategically smudged like she just lost a fight with her eyeliner and dignity. The caption? When the person you thought would stand by you forever abandons you without even a conversation. Men really will waste years of your life and walk away without explanation. The comments were split. Her regular followers gave her sympathy. You deserve better, girl. Men are trash. His loss, honey. Ah yes, the support squad arrived in full force in the comments section of Aubrey's crying selfie. If they handed out medals for blind loyalty, half her followers would be wearing gold. But then came the others. The receipts crew. The people with screenshots, timestamps, and zero chill. Wasn't this the guy you called a stepping stone on your life? Didn't you say you were only with him for financial stability? I saved that live, wanting to post it. That's when the real entertainment began. I watched like I was front row at a fireworks show. Only instead of explosions, it was Aubrey frantically deleting comments faster than she deletes carbs before a beach trip. But they kept coming. Every time she tried to play victim, another viewer popped in with the social media equivalent of, oh no you don't. And then, by evening, there she was. At my new place. Still don't know exactly how she found it. Probably leveraged a mutual friend or bribed Google with one of her discount codes. But she showed up. Hair perfect. Makeup waterproof. Drama dialed up to 11. My building has secure entry, so she couldn't get in. Instead, she stood outside on the sidewalk like a Disney villain who lost her script, calling up to me. 4 floors up. Mitchell, please. Her voice cracked. I didn't mean any of it. It was just stupid girl talk. Right. Girl talk. Also known as casually outlining your exit strategy from your fiancé on a live stream. You can't throw away 3 years over one mistake. Sure I can. I've thrown away pizza because it was too greasy. This is easier. I love you, she wailed. The wedding is in 4 months. What am I supposed to tell people? Tell them the truth, Aubrey. Tell them your ATM developed self-respect and moved out. I stood at the window watching like I was binge-watching my own freedom. Not angry. Not smug. Just calm. Peaceful. Like I just finished a really annoying software update, and now everything was finally running smoothly. Security eventually stepped in, bless them. Ma'am, if you don't leave, we'll have to call the police. She left. Not quietly, mind you, but eventually. But the texts? Oh, the texts. They kept pouring in like she thought the sheer weight of her narcissism might crack my silence. "You're being so immature," says the woman who held a live Instagram tribunal to discuss my utility as a credit score. "I can't believe you did this to me." Correction, I believe I did this to get away from you. What about the venue, the flowers, my dress? My dress, my flowers, my venue. Notice a pattern? Not once did she say she missed me. Just what I provided, what I funded. Then came the real meltdown. "Why is my credit card declined? Did you cancel our cards?" "No, sweetheart. I just removed my card as the backup payment method on your maxed out circus of a spending habit." "You're welcome." That's when I finally broke my silence. One text. "You said I was a stepping stone. I'm just helping you move on to that destination you mentioned. Good luck with your journey." The reply was immediate, like her phone had been vibrating in her hand for the last 24 hours waiting for that one line. "That's not fair. And you know it. I was just talking nonsense with my friends." Everyone does that. Sure, if everyone includes villains in rom-coms and contestants on The Bachelor. I didn't reply. Then she tried a different tactic. "What about all the wedding deposits? We're going to lose thousands of dollars." I didn't reply. "My parents already bought plane tickets. What am I supposed to tell them?" I didn't reply. "I thought you were different. I thought you really loved me." Nice try. Still no reply. "I'm going to tell everyone what a jerk you are. Now you're just recycling lines from teen dramas. Can we please just talk in person? I still love you, Mitchell." Crickets. After 24 hours of total silence, she finally did what she does best. She posted again on Instagram. This time her Instagram rant was less sad violin and more angry kazoo. Something about how men can't handle strong women, how we run from confrontation, and break promises the moment things get tough. You know, basic BuzzFeed article energy. Of course, her loyal followers rallied. "Preach, queen. Men are so intimidated by powerful women. He clearly couldn't handle your sparkle." Sure. Meanwhile, actual clips from her Stepping Stone Live Instagram saga were now circulating, thanks to the magic of screen recording and petty justice. Her victim narrative? Crumbling faster than her attempt to detox using charcoal tea. And me? I said nothing. I was a Zen monk wrapped in a burrito of silence. A full week passed. I went to work. I came home. I started rebuilding. I even gave my boss a heads up in case Aubrey tried to go full soap opera and show up at my job. His response: "Dude, take some time off if you need it. Breakups are hard." I said, "Thanks, but I think I already took the trash out." We shared a laugh. I got back to work. Texts started rolling in from mutual friends. "What happened, man? Why did you ghost her like that? Is it true you left her over a live stream?" I kept it simple. Aubrey made it clear she was with me for financial stability, not love. I believed her and acted accordingly. Some nodded and said, "Damn, makes sense." Others hit me with, "Aren't you overreacting though?" I hit them back with a quick internal unsubscribe and kept it moving. But the hardest call? Her mom. I liked her mom. Always polite, always warm. Never once tried to sell me protein shakes or lash serum, which already made her top tier. She called crying. "Mitchell, what happened?" I paused, then said gently, "I saw a video of Aubrey saying she was only with me for financial reasons. I loved her. She didn't love me. That's the truth." There was a long silence. Then softly, "I'm sorry. I raised her better than that. It sucked. Not because I regretted leaving, but because I knew someone good got caught in the fallout." And Aubrey? Well, she turned into the world's worst GPS. Suddenly, she was just coincidentally popping up everywhere. My favorite coffee shop, the gym, the comic book store, which was wild. Considering the last time she was in a comic shop, she asked loudly, "Wait, people still read these?" If I walked in and saw her, I walked right out, shifted my schedule, changed my routines. She even tried to enlist mutual friends to accidentally get us in the same room. Most refused. The couple that tried, I shut it down with a quick. She made her feelings clear. I'm just respecting her honesty. Mic drop. Moving on. Through all of it, I stayed silent. No texts, no calls, no emails, nothing. Because I knew any response would just drag it out. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about winning. It was about finally respecting myself enough to stop being someone's convenience store, open late, fully stocked, and taken for granted. 2 weeks passed. I blocked her on everything like I was scrubbing malware off a clean hard drive. And I focused on me. Started eating better, sleeping better. And guess what? I got a promotion at work. Turns out, when you're not being constantly told you're not stylish enough, ambitious enough, rich enough, you start realizing. Your confidence improves. I started hitting the gym again. Nothing crazy, just enough to make sure I could lift more than a pizza box without breaking a sweat. Reconnected with some old friends Aubrey had subtly, and not so subtly, discouraged because they didn't fit our brand. Translation: They didn't wear designer anything or drink overpriced green juices with names like Moon Gut Cleanse. Then came the reckoning. Turns out when you live like a real housewife on a network engineer's salary, you crash hard when the engineer walks. First sign, my old landlord gave me a ring. Hey Mitchell, do you have a new number for Aubrey? She's 3 weeks late on rent. I took a sip of coffee, smiled, and said, nope, not my problem anymore. But hey, I know someone solid looking for a spot if you need to fill it quick. Then came the BMW repossession. That car had been Aubrey's pride and joy. She'd treated it like a child, washed it weekly, posted selfies in the driver's seat with captions like Monday grind. Too bad monthly payments don't get made in hashtags and pouty filters. Without me spotting her emergencies, read, shoe sales and Coachella tickets, the repo truck rolled in and snatched that German chariot right out from under her Lululemon leggings. Then the social circle began to shrink faster than her credit limit. Miranda and Kendra? Gone. Apparently, girls' nights are less fun when you're not pouring Prosecco someone else paid for. But the piece de resistance? That marketing conference, the one she waltzed off to in her overpriced blazer while I was coordinating movers like an emotional Navy SEAL. Yeah, she'd been using that to network for a new job. Landed a better gig at a fancier agency. Huge pay bump. Big deal. Then someone at her new job stumbled across her live meltdown. Apparently stepping stone fiancé and public gold-digging antics don't scream brand integrity. She got fired before she even got her first paycheck. Now, let me be clear, I didn't go looking for any of this tea. I wasn't checking her socials or asking around like a jilted lover with a private investigator. She couldn't help herself. She was still posting cryptic quotes, moody selfies, hashtags like hashtag betrayed but stronger and hashtag Phoenix mode. The digital version of sighing loudly and hoping someone asks what's wrong. Then came the email from a new account, since I'd blocked everything short of smoke signals. Subject, please, Mitchell. I'm desperate. I can't make rent. My car is gone. I might lose my job. I know I don't deserve your help, but I just need something to get back on my feet. I swear I'll pay you back. Please. I have nowhere else to turn. I let it sit for 3 days. Not out of spite. Just to marinate. Then I replied, that sounds really challenging. Have you considered that maybe this is just a stepping stone to something better? People grow apart from their financial problems all the time. Good luck with your journey. Was it petty? Maybe. Was it satisfying? Absolutely. Felt darn good to finally throw her words back at her like a glitter-coated boomerang. She must have shown my response to someone, because not 5 minutes later my phone lit up like a Christmas tree on a caffeine bender. Suddenly, all these people I hadn't heard from in months, Aubrey's so-called empowerment squad, were sliding into my messages. You're heartless. Cruel. A monster for abandoning someone in need. Right. Because the guy who was referred to as a stepping stone is somehow the villain in this Hallmark horror movie. So, I did the most efficient thing I've ever done in my life. No sarcasm. Genuinely top-tier productivity move. I replied to each of them with the same message. Here's the full video of her live stream. Enjoy. Boom. One link to the cringe fest that started it all. Silence followed like I'd thrown a grenade into a brunch full of mimosas and unresolved guilt. And then, plot twist, Kendra messaged me. Kendra, one of the backup dancers in Aubrey's live performance of I'm Only With Him for the savings account. Hey, Mitchell. I know you probably hate me, and that's fair. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for laughing that night. It wasn't cool. Aubrey's been saying stuff like that for a while, and I just went along with it. You seem like a good guy. You deserved better. I sat there, rereading the message a few times, trying to detect the BS level. But honestly, it seemed genuine. I appreciated it. I didn't respond with snark. I also didn't keep the conversation going. I was past that chapter. This wasn't Redemption Island, the Instagram years. Then came the final update, straight from the grapevine of mutual friends who still had one foot in the Aubrey cinematic universe. She'd moved back in with her parents. Yep, back to the beige-carpeted suburban compound she used to roll her eyes about. Apparently, someone, bless their petty little heart, compiled a full montage of her tone-deaf, materialistic posts spliced against her stepping stone monologue. It made the rounds. Her personal brand collapsed like a Jenga tower at a toddler convention. Followers? Gone. Free PR boxes? Dry. Influencer gigs? Ghosted. Her farewell tour? A 900-word Instagram post about her journey of self-discovery, complete with a black and white photo, soft lighting, and a caption about reflecting on toxic relationship patterns. She never admitted what she did. Never owned up to it. Classic Aubrey. Always the victim in her own screenplay. Meanwhile, me? I've been dating again. Nothing serious. Just meeting actual human beings who ask questions like, what do you like to do for fun? Instead of, would you be embarrassed if I used your credit card at Sephora again? My new apartment feels like home. Small kitchen, comfy couch, Wi-Fi strong enough to stream, game, and ghost toxic exes simultaneously. I'm even saving for a house now, one I'll buy because I like it, not because it has a Pinterest-worthy breakfast nook. And sometimes, I think about how damn close I came to legally tying myself to someone who saw me as a walking wallet with 2-day Amazon Prime. Would have been alimony, child support, years of soul erosion with a side of influencer drama. All because she couldn't resist performing her true self in front of a ring light. The wedding would have cost me $35,000. The divorce? Way more. Instead, I took that money and invested it in someone who actually matters me. Best return I'll ever get. It's been just over 6 months now since I walked away from Aubrey and that life. So, here's where things stand, because apparently, the universe has a sense of humor, and it's finally working in my favor. That promotion I mentioned? Yeah, that turned into something even better. One of our clients, an actual grown-up company with a kitchen that doesn't have a kombucha tap, offered me a position as their IT director. $110,000 a year, plus bonuses, and stock options. And, for the first time in my adult life, I now understand what it feels like to look at your paycheck and not immediately wonder if you can afford guacamole this month. The irony that this happened literally weeks after Aubrey had gone on a monologue about my lack of earning potential? Oh, I felt that deep in my petty little soul. I took the offer. Immediately. No hesitation. The old version of me would have thought it through, maybe gotten her opinion, weighed the optics. But this version of me? The Mitchell 2.0, who doesn't get his self-worth from filtered approval? Yeah, I signed a contract and took myself out to dinner. At Olive Garden. Unapologetically. Then I did something I never thought I'd be able to do before 40. I bought a house. Nothing crazy. Not a McMansion with an HOA that demands blood sacrifices every full moon. Just a solid 3-bedroom ranch in a quiet neighborhood with decent schools and no kombucha in sight. I paid the down payment with what would have been the wedding fund. That's right. The Make Aubrey's Fairy Tale Happen fund is now Mitchell's peaceful bachelor fortress. Every time I walk through that front door, I'm hit with this overwhelming sense of peace. No one yelling at me about curtain rods. No one telling me the couch clashes with their vision board. It's my house. I can paint a wall 6 different shades of beige if I want, just because I can. The dating scene's been interesting. I've gone out with a few women. Some great, some not so much. One woman told me she had a soul connection with her cat and would only date someone who spoke to animals. I nodded politely and finished my drink in under 4 minutes. But I'm not rushing anything. Not looking for someone to put on a pedestal or to parade on Instagram like a handbag with eyebrows. I want a partner. Someone who asks me how my day was and actually listens to the answer, instead of replying with, "Cool, now look at this dress I want." And the biggest difference? Now I know better. I'm not here to be someone's safety net, starter husband, or wallet-shaped therapist. As for Aubrey, oh, I've kept my distance. Trust me, I'm not out here checking her stories or peeking at her TikTok like a desperate ghost from boyfriend's past. But it's a small city. People talk. Screenshots get shared. Petty friends spill tea. You know how it is. She's still living at home. Still posting find your like quotes with suspiciously filtered selfies. Her engagement numbers? Flatlined. I mean, even bots are like, nah, we're good. She tried to rebrand as a personal growth coach, because of course she did. A woman who once spent $400 on a handbag she called an investment is now giving financial advice on Instagram. It didn't take off, shockingly. Turns out shouting you deserve better while racking up overdraft fees doesn't exactly build a client base. Last I heard, she's working retail at the same mall she used to mock. I believe her exact words were, "That place is for people who peaked in high school." And the icing on the ironic cake? She's dating a guy who looks exactly like me. Same build, same haircut, same button-down shirt collection. Only difference? He drives a leased luxury car he can't afford and lives in an apartment where the rent eats 50% of his income and the rest probably goes to scented candles and decorative succulents. All flash. No substance. She didn't downgrade. She found the male version of herself. She found her match. Her final attempt came about 2 months ago. A handwritten letter. Yeah, pen, paper, stamps. Like it was 1994 and she was auditioning for a Nicholas Sparks adaptation. Still not sure how she got my new address. Either private investigator, mutual friend betrayal, or she sacrificed a ring light to the algorithm gods and got lucky. It was pages and pages. Cursive, no less. Must have taken her hours between contouring sessions. A full soliloquy about how she'd grown, changed, reevaluated her values, and now totally understood what really matters in life. Spoiler alert, it wasn't handbags. She ended it by asking if we could get coffee sometime. Just talk. Just see where things stood. I didn't respond. Because nothing screams I've matured quite like a desperate letter disguised as a redemption arc. I could practically hear her voice as I read it. Look, I've done the emotional labor of evolving. Now you just have to forgive me and buy me an oat milk latte. Some people, mostly the "you never know what she's going through" crowd, asked in the comments of my original post, "Mitchell, don't you ever feel bad about how things turned out for her?" And here's the honest truth. Sometimes. Briefly. Like for 6.5 seconds. There were good times in those 3 years. Real ones. Nights we laughed so hard we couldn't breathe. Lazy Sundays watching bad movies. Random road trips where we didn't even fight over the playlist. Moments where I genuinely thought, this is it. This is what love is supposed to feel like. And then, like someone flipping a switch, I remember her face on that Instagram live. That smug little smirk. The way her voice went cold as she called me a stepping stone. Like I was a piece of sidewalk she walked on in $700 heels. Any guilt? Gone. Evaporated. Vamoosed. You know what's funny? If she had just said those things privately, like a normal emotionally immature person, I probably never would have known. I might be married to her right now, still thinking she loved me, still trying to justify our differences, still budgeting for her next purse while she sketched out her exit strategy in a journal labeled "Manifesting My Best Life." In a weird, cosmic, almost poetic twist, her absolute need for social media validation, the very thing I used to roll my eyes at, saved me. From a divorce. From financial ruin. From a lifetime of performative brunches and being told my khakis were too practical. So that's it. No final showdown. No screaming match in the ring. No rom-com airport dash. Just me, building a life I actually like. One where no one is tallying my income against their dreams or calling me basic because I think Olive Garden slaps sometimes. And if there's a lesson here, and maybe there is, it's this. Pay attention to who someone is when they don't think you're watching. That's who they really are. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.